Chapter 31. You do not know how long you are in a river when the current moves swiftly. It seems a long time, and it may be very short. The water was cold and in flood, and many things passed that had been floated off the banks when the river rose. I was lucky to have a heavy timber to hold on to, and I lay in the icy water with my chin on the wood, holding as easily as I could with both hands. I was afraid of cramps, and I hoped we would move toward the shore. We went down the river in a long curve. It was beginning to be light enough so I could see the bushes along the shoreline. There was a brush island ahead, and the current moved toward the shore. I wondered if I should take off my boots and clothes and try to swim ashore, but decided not to. I never thought of anything but that I would reach the shore some way, and I would be in a bad position if I landed barefoot. I had to get to Mestre some way. I watched the shore come close, then swing away, then come closer again. We were floating more slowly. The shore was very close now. I could see twigs on the willow bush. The timber swung slowly so that the bank was behind me, and I knew we were in an eddy. We went slowly around. As I saw the bank again, very close now, I tried holding it with one arm and kicking and swimming the timber toward the bank with the other, but I did not bring it any closer. I was afraid we would move out of the eddy, and holding with one hand I drew up my feet so that they were against the side of the timber, and shoved hard toward the bank. I could see the brush, but even with my momentum and swimming as hard as I could, the current was taking me away. I thought then that I would drown because of my boots, but I thrashed and fought through the water, and when I looked up the bank was coming toward me, and I kept thrashing and swimming in a heavy-footed panic until I reached it. I hung to the willow branch and did not have strength to pull myself up, but I knew I would not drown now. It had never occurred to me on the timber that I might drown. I felt hollow and sick in my stomach and chest from the effort, and I held to the branches and waited. When the sick feeling was gone, I pulled into the willow bushes and rested again, my arms around some brush, holding tight with my hands to the branches. Then I crawled out, pushed down through the willows and onto the bank. It was half daylight, and I saw no one. I lay flat on the bank and heard the river and the rain. After a while I got up and started along the bank. I knew there was no bridge across the river until Laziana. I thought I might be opposite San Vito. I began to think of what I should do. Ahead there was a ditch running into the river. I went toward it. So far I had seen no one, and I sat down by some bushes along the bank of the ditch and took off my shoes and emptied them of water. I took off my coat, took my wallet with my papers and my money all wet in it out of the inside pocket, and then wrung the coat out. I took off my trousers and wrung them too, then my shirt and underclothing. I slapped and rubbed myself, and then dressed again. I had lost my cap. Before I put on my coat, I cut the cloth stars off my sleeves and put them in the inside pocket with my money. My money was wet, but was all right. I counted it. There were 3,000 and some lire. My clothes felt wet and clammy, and I slapped my arms to keep the circulation going. I had woven underwear, and I did not think I would catch cold if I kept moving. They had taken my pistol at the road, and I put the holster under my coat. I had no cape, and it was cold in the rain. I started up the bank of the canal. It was daylight, and the country was wet, low, and dismal-looking. The fields were bare and wet. A long way away I could see a campanile rising out of the plain. I came up onto a road. Ahead I saw some troops coming down the road. I limped along the side of the road, and they passed me and paid no attention to me. They were a machine-gun detachment going up toward the river. I went on down the road. That day I crossed the Venetian plain. It is a low-level country, and under the rain it is even flatter. Toward the sea there are salt marshes and very few roads. The roads all go along the river mouths to the sea, and to cross the country you must go along the paths beside the canals. I was walking across the country from the north to the south, and had crossed 2 railway lines and many roads, and finally I came out at the end of a path onto a railway line where it ran beside a marsh. It was the main line from Venice to Trieste. with a high solid embankment, a solid roadbed and double track. Down the tracks away was a flag station, and I could see soldiers on guard. Up the line there was a bridge over a stream that flowed into the marsh. I could see a guard, too, at the bridge. Crossing the fields to the north, I'd seen a train pass on this railroad, visible a long way across the flat plain, and I thought a train might come from Porto Gruaro. I watched the guards and lay down on the embankment so that I could see both ways along the track. The guard at the bridge walked away up the line toward where I lay, then turned and went back toward the bridge. I lay and was hungry and waited for the train. The one I had seen was so long that the engine moved it very slowly, and I was sure I could get aboard it. After I had almost given up hoping for one, I saw a train coming. The engine, coming straight on, grew larger, slowly. I looked at the guard at the bridge. He was walking on the near side of the bridge, but on the other side of the tracks. That would put him out of sight when the train passed. I watched the engine come nearer. It was working hard. I could see there were many cars. I knew there would be guards on the train, and I tried to see where they were, but keeping out of sight, I could not. The engine was almost to where I was lying. When it came opposite, working and puffing even on the level, and I saw the engineer pass, I stood and stepped up close to the passing cars. If the guards were watching, I was the less suspicious object standing beside the track. Several closed freight cars passed. Then I saw a low open car of the sort they call gondolas coming, covered with canvas. I stood until it almost passed, then jumped and caught the rear hand rods and pulled up. I crawled down between the gondola and the shelter of the high freight car behind. I did not think anyone had seen me. I was holding on the hand rods and crouching low, my feet on the coupling. We were almost opposite the bridge. I remembered the guard. As we passed him, he looked at me. He was a boy, and his helmet was too big for him. I stared at him contemptuously, and he looked away. He thought I had something to do with the train. We were past. I saw him still looking uncomfortable, watching the other cars pass, and I stooped to see how the canvas was fastened. It had grommets and was laced down at the edge with cord. I took out my knife, cut the cord, and put my arm under. There were hard bulges under the canvas that tightened in the rain. I looked up and ahead. There was a guard on the freight car ahead, but he was looking forward. I let go of the handrails and ducked under the canvas. My forehead hit something that gave me a violent bump, and I felt blood on my face, but I crawled on in and lay flat. Then I turned around and fastened down the canvas. I was in under the canvas with guns. They smelled cleanly of oil and grease. I lay and listened to the rain on the canvas and the clicking of the car over the rails. There was a little light came through, and I lay and looked at the guns. They had their canvas jackets on. I thought they must have been sent ahead from the Third Army. The bump on my forehead was swollen, and I stopped the bleeding by laying still and letting it coagulate, then picked away the dry blood, except over the cut. It was nothing. I had no handkerchief, but feeling with my fingers, I washed away where the dry blood had been, with rainwater that dripped from the canvas, and wiped it clean with the sleeve of my coat. I did not want to look conspicuous. I knew I would have to get out before they got to Mestre, because they would be taking care of these guns. They had no guns to lose or forget about. I was terrifically hungry. Chapter 32. Lying on the floor of the flat car with the guns beside me, under the canvas, I was wet, cold, and very hungry. Finally, I rolled over and lay flat on my stomach with my head on my arms. My knee was stiff, but it had been very satisfactory. Valentini had done a fine job. I had done half the retreat on foot and swum part of the tagliamento with my knee. It was his knee, all right. The other knee was mine. Doctors did things to you, and then it was not your body any more. The head was mine, and the inside of the belly. It was very hungry in there. I could feel it turn over on itself. The head was mine, but not to use, not to think with, only to remember, and not too much remember. I could remember Catherine, but I knew I would get crazy if I thought about her when I was not sure yet I would see her, so I would not think about her, only about her a little, only about her with the car going slowly and clickingly, and some light through the canvas in my line with Catherine on the floor of the car. Hard as the floor of the car to lie, not thinking, only feeling, having been away too long, the clothes wet and the floor moving only a little each time, and lonesome inside and alone with wet clothing and hard floor for a wife. You did not love the floor of a flat car, nor guns with canvas jackets, and the smell of Vaseline metal or a canvas that rain leaked through, although it is very fine under a canvas and pleasant with guns. But you loved someone else whom now you knew was not even to be pretended there. You seeing now very clearly and coldly, not so coldly as clearly and emptily. You saw emptily, lying on your stomach, having been present when one army moved back and another came forward. You had lost your cars and your men as a floor walker loses the stock of his department in a fire. There was, however, no insurance. You were out of it now. You had no more obligation. If they shot floor walkers after a fire in the department store because they spoke with an accent they had always had, then certainly the floor walkers would not be expected to return when the store opened again for business. They might seek other employment, if there was any other employment, and the police did not get them. Anger was washed away in the river along with any obligation, although that ceased when the carabinieri put the hands on my collar. I would like to have had the uniform off, although I did not care much about the outward forms. I had taken off the stars, but that was for convenience. It was no point of honor. I was not against them. I was through. I wished them all the luck. There were the good ones, and the brave ones, and the calm ones, and the sensible ones, and they deserved it. But it was not my show any more, and I wished this bloody train would get to Mestre, and I would eat and stop thinking. I would have to stop. Piani would tell them they had shot me. They went through the pockets and took the papers of the people they shot. They would not have my papers. They might call me drowned. I wonder what they would hear in the States. Dead from wounds and other causes. Good Christ, I was hungry. I wondered what had become of the priest at the mess, and Rinaldi. He was probably at Pordenone, if they had not gone further back. Well, I would never see him now. I would never see any of them now. That life was over. I did not think he had syphilis. It was not a serious disease anyway if you took it in time, they said. But he would worry. I would worry too if I had it. Anyone would worry. I was not made to think. I was made to eat. My God, yes, eat and drink and sleep with Catherine. Tonight, maybe. No, that was impossible, but tomorrow night. And a good meal and sheets and never going away again except together. Probably have to go damned quickly. She would go. I knew she would go. When would we go? That was something to think about. It was getting dark. I lay and thought where we would go. There were many places. Chapter 33. I dropped off the train in Milan as it slowed to come into the station early in the morning before it was light. I crossed the track and came out between some buildings and down onto the street. A wine shop was open, and I went in for some coffee. It smelled of early morning, of swept dust, spoons in coffee glasses, and the wet circles left by wine glasses. The proprietor was behind the bar. 2 soldiers sat at a table. I stood at the bar and drank a glass of coffee and ate a piece of bread. The coffee was gray with milk, and I skimmed the milk scum off the top with a piece of bread. The proprietor looked at me. "You want a glass of grappa?" "No, thanks." "On me," he said, and poured a small glass and pushed it toward me. "What's happening at the front?" I would not know. "They are drunk," he said, moving his hand toward the 2 soldiers. I could believe him. They looked drunk. "Tell me," he said, "what is happening at the front?" I would not know about the front. "I saw you come down the wall. You came off the train." "There is a big retreat." I read the papers. "What happens? Is it over?" "I don't think so." He filled a glass with grappa from a short bottle. "If you are in trouble," he said, "I can keep you." "I'm not in trouble." "If you are in trouble, stay here with me." "Where does one stay?" "In the building. Many stay here. Any who are in trouble stay here." "Are many in trouble?" "It depends on the trouble." "You are a South American?" "No." "Speak Spanish?" "A little." He wiped off the bar. "It is hard now to leave the country, but in no way impossible." I have no wish to leave. You can stay here as long as you want. You will see what sort of man I am. I have to go this morning, but I will remember the address to return." He shook his head. "You won't come back if you talk like that. I thought you were in real trouble." "I'm in no trouble, but I value the address of a friend." I put a 10 lira note on the bar to pay for the coffee. "Have a grappa with me," I said. "It is not necessary." "Have one." He poured the 2 glasses. "Remember," he said, "come here. Do not let other people take you in. Here you are all right." "I'm sure." "You are sure?" "Yes." He was serious. "Then let me tell you one thing. Do not go about with that coat." "Why?" "On the sleeves it shows very plainly where the stars have been cut away. The cloth is a different color." I did not say anything. "If you have no papers, I can give you papers." "What papers?" "Leave papers." "I have no need for papers. I have papers." "All right," he said, "but if you need papers, I can get what you wish." "How much are such papers?" "It depends on what they are. The price is reasonable." "I don't need any now." He shrugged his shoulders. "I'm all right," I said. When I went out, he said, "Don't forget that I'm your friend." "No." "I will see you again," he said. "Good," I said. Outside, I kept away from the station, where there were military police, and picked up a cab at the edge of the little park. I gave the driver the address of the hospital. At the hospital, I went to the porter's lodge. His wife embraced me. He shook my hand. "You are back. You are safe." "Yes." "Have you had breakfast?" "Yes." "How are you, Tenente? How are you?" the wife asked. "Fine. Won't you have breakfast with us?" "No, thank you. Tell me, is Miss Barkley here at the hospital now?" "Miss Barkley?" "The English lady nurse." "His girl," the wife said. She patted my arm and smiled. "No," the porter said. "She is away." My heart went down. "You are sure? I mean the tall, blonde English young lady?" "I'm sure. She has gone to Stresa." "When did she go?" "She went 2 days ago with the other lady English." "Good," I said. "I wish you to do something for me. Do not tell anyone you have seen me. It is very important." "I won't tell anyone," the porter said. I gave him a 10 lira note. He pushed it away. "I promise you I will tell no one," he said. "I don't want any money." "What can we do for you, Signor Tenente?" his wife asked. "Only that," I said. "We are dumb," the porter said. "You will let me know anything I can do?" "Yes," I said. "Goodbye. I will see you again." They stood in the door, looking after me. I got into the cab and gave the driver the address of Simmons, one of the men I knew who was studying singing. Simmons lived a long way out in the town toward the Porta Magenta. He was still in bed and sleepy when I went to see him. "You get up awfully early, Henry," he said. "I came in on the early train." "What's all this retreat? Were you at the front? Will you have a cigarette? They're in that box on the table." There's a big room with a bed beside the wall, a piano over on the far side, and a dresser and table. I sat on a chair by the bed. Simmons sat propped up by the pillows and smoked. "I'm in a jam, Sim," I said. "So am I," he said. "I'm always in a jam. Won't you smoke?" "No," I said. "What's the procedure in going to Switzerland?" "For you? The Italians wouldn't let you out of the country." "Yes, I know that. But the Swiss, what will they do?" "They intern you." "I know, but what's the mechanics of it?" "Nothing. It's very simple. You can go anywhere. I think you just have to report or something. Why, are you fleeing the police?" "Nothing definite yet." "Don't tell me if you don't want." "But it would be interesting to hear." "Nothing happens here. I was a great flop at Piacenza." "I'm awfully sorry." "Oh, yes, I went very badly. I sung well, too. I'm going to try it again at the Lyrical here. I'd like to be there." "You're awfully polite. You aren't in a bad mess, are you?" "I don't know." "Don't tell me if you don't want. How do you happen to be away from the bloody front?" "I think I'm through with it." "Good boy. I always knew you had sense. Can I help you in any way?" "You're awfully busy." "Not a bit of it, my dear Henry. Not a bit of it. I'd be happy to do anything." "You're about my size. Would you go out and buy me an outfit of civilian clothes? I've clothes, but they're all at Rome." "You did live there, didn't you? It's a filthy place. How did you ever live there?" I wanted to be an architect." "That's no place for that. Don't buy clothes. I'll give you all the clothes you want. I'll fit you out so you'll be a great success. Go in that dressing room. There is a closet. Take anything you want. My dear fellow, you don't want to buy clothes." "I'd rather buy them, Sim." "My dear fellow, it's easier for me to let you have them than go out and buy them." "Have you got a passport? You won't get far without a passport." "Yes, I've still got my passport." "Then get dressed, my dear fellow, and off to old Helvetia." "It's not that simple. I have to go up to Stresa first." "Ideal, my dear fellow. You just row a boat across. If I wasn't trying to sing, I'd go with you." "I'll go yet." "You could take up yodeling." "My dear fellow, I'll take up yodeling yet. I really can sing, though. That's the strange part." "I'll bet you can sing." He lay back in bed smoking a cigarette. "Don't bet too much. But I can sing, though. It's damned funny, but I can. I like to sing. Listen." He roared into Africana, his neck swelling, the veins standing out. "I can sing," he said, "whether they like it or not." I looked out of the window. "I'll go down and let my cab go." "Come back, my dear fellow, and we'll have breakfast." He stepped out of bed, stood straight, took a deep breath, and commenced doing bending exercises. I went downstairs and paid off the cab. Chapter 34. In civilian clothes I felt a masquerader. I'd been in uniform a long time, and I missed the feeling of being held by your clothes. The trousers felt very floppy. I'd bought a ticket at Milan for Stresa. I'd also bought a new hat. I could not wear Sim's hat, but his clothes were fine. They smelled of tobacco, and as I sat in the compartment and looked out the window, the new hat felt very new, and the clothes very old. I myself felt as sad as the wet Lombard country that was outside through the window. There were some aviators in the compartment who did not think much of me. They avoided looking at me and were very scornful of a civilian my age. I did not feel insulted. In the old days I would have insulted them and picked a fight. They got off at Gallarate, and I was glad to be alone. I had the paper, but I did not read it because I did not want to read about the war. I was going to forget the war. I'd made a separate peace. I felt damned lonely and was glad when the train got to Stresa. At the station I had expected to see the porters from the hotels, but there was no one. The season had been over a long time, and no one met the train. I got down from the train with my bag. It was Sim's bag, and very light to carry, being empty, except for 2 shirts, and stood under the roof of the station in the rain while the train went on. I found a man in the station and asked him if he knew what hotels were open. The Grand Hotel and Des Îles Borromées was open, and several small hotels that stayed open all the year. I started in the rain for the Îles Borromées, carrying my bag. I saw a carriage coming down the street, and signaled to the driver. It was better to arrive in a carriage. We drove up to the carriage entrance of the big hotel, and the concierge came out with an umbrella, and was very polite. I took a good room. It was very big and light, and looked out on the lake. The clouds were down over the lake, but it would be beautiful with the sunlight. I was expecting my wife, I said. There was a big double bed, a letto matrimoniale, with a satin coverlet. The hotel was very luxurious. I went down the long halls, down the wide stairs, through the rooms to the bar. I knew the barman, and sat on a high stool and ate salted almonds and potato chips. The martini felt cool and clean. "What are you doing here in Borghese?" the barman asked after he had mixed a second martini. "I'm on leave, convalescing leave. There's no one here. I don't know why they keep the hotel open." "Have you been fishing?" "I've caught some beautiful pieces. Trolling this time of year, you catch some beautiful pieces." "Did you ever get the tobacco I sent?" "Yes. Didn't you get my card?" I laughed. I had not been able to get the tobacco. It was American pipe tobacco that he wanted, but my relatives had stopped sending it, or it was being held up. Anyway, it never came. "I'll get some somewhere," I said. "Tell me, have you seen 2 English girls in the town? They came here day before yesterday." "They are not at the hotel." "They are nurses." "I have seen 2 nurses. Wait a minute, I will find out where they are." "One of them is my wife," I said. "I have come here to meet her." "The other is my wife." "I'm not joking." "Pardon my stupid joke," he said. "I did not understand." He went away and was gone quite a little while. I ate olives, salted almonds, and potato chips, and looked at myself in civilian clothes in the mirror behind the bar. The bartender came back. "They are at the little hotel near the station," he said. "How about some sandwiches?" "I'll ring for some. You understand there is nothing here, now there are no people." "Isn't there really anyone at all?" "Yes, there are a few people." The sandwiches came, and I ate 3 and drank a couple more martinis. I'd never tasted anything so cool and clean. They made me feel civilized. I had too much red wine, bread, cheese, bad coffee, and grappa. I sat on the high stool before the pleasant mahogany, the brass, and the mirrors, and did not think at all. The barman asked me some question. "Don't talk about the war," I said. "The war was a long way away. Maybe there wasn't any war. There was no war here." Then I realized it was over for me, but I did not have the feeling that it was really over. I had the feeling of a boy who thinks of what is happening at a certain hour at the schoolhouse from which he has played truant. Catherine and Helen Ferguson were at supper when I came to their hotel. Standing in the hallway, I saw them at table. Catherine's face was away from me, and I saw the line of her hair and her cheek and her lovely neck and shoulders. Ferguson was talking. She stopped when I came in. "My God," she said. "Hello," I said. "Why, it's you," Catherine said. Her face lighted up. She looked too happy to believe it. I kissed her. Catherine blushed, and I sat down at the table. "You're a fine mess," Ferguson said. "What are you doing here? Have you eaten?" "No, the girl who was serving the meal came in, and I told her to bring a plate for me." Catherine looked at me all the time, her eyes happy. "What are you doing in mufti?" Ferguson asked. "I'm in the cabinet." "You're in some mess." "Cheer up, Fergie. Cheer up just a little." "I'm not cheered by seeing you. I know the mess you've gotten this girl into. You're no cheerful sight to me." Catherine smiled at me and touched me with her foot under the table. "No one got me in a mess, Fergie. I get in my own messes." "I can't stand him," Ferguson said. "He's done nothing but ruin you with his sneaking Italian tricks. Americans are worse than Italians." "The Scotch are such a moral people," Catherine said. "I don't mean that. I mean his Italian sneakiness." "Am I sneaky, Fergie?" "You are. You're worse than sneaky. You're like a snake with an Italian uniform, with a cape around your neck." "I haven't got an Italian uniform now." "That's just another example of your sneakiness. You had a love affair all summer, and got this girl with child, and now I suppose you'll sneak off." I smiled at Catherine, and she smiled at me. "We'll both sneak off," she said. "You're two of the same thing," Ferguson said. "I'm ashamed of you, Catherine Barkley. You have no shame and no honor, and you're as sneaky as he is." "Don't, Fergie," Catherine said, and patted her hand. "Don't denounce me. You know we like each other." "Take your hand away," Ferguson said. Her face was red. "If you had any shame, it would be different. But you're God knows how many months gone with child, and you think it's a joke, and are all smiles because your seducer's come back. You've no shame and no feelings." She began to cry. Catherine went over and put her arm around her. As she stood comforting Ferguson, I could see no change in her figure. "I don't care," Ferguson sobbed. "I think it's dreadful." "There, Fergie," Catherine comforted her. "I'll be ashamed. Don't cry, Fergie. Don't cry, old Fergie." "I'm not crying," Ferguson sobbed. "I'm not crying, except for the awful thing you've gotten into." She looked at me. "I hate you," she said. "She can't make me not hate you. You dirty, sneaking American Italian." Her eyes and nose were red with crying. Catherine smiled at me. "Don't you smile at him with your arm around me. You're unreasonable, Fergie." "I know it," Ferguson sobbed. "You mustn't mind me, either of you. I'm so upset. I'm not reasonable. I know it. I want you both to be happy." "We're happy," Catherine said. "You're a sweet Fergie." Ferguson cried again. "I don't want you happy the way you are. Why don't you get married? You haven't got another wife, have you?" "No," I said. Catherine laughed. "It's nothing to laugh about," Ferguson said. "Plenty of them have other wives." "We'll be married, Fergie," Catherine said, "if it will please you." "Not to please me. You should want to be married." "We've been very busy." "Yes, I know. Busy making babies." I thought she was going to cry again, but she went into bitterness instead. "I suppose you'll go off with him now, tonight." "Yes," said Catherine, "if he wants me." "What about me?" Are you afraid to stay here alone? Yes, I am. Then I'll stay with you. No, go on with him. Go with him right away. I'm sick of seeing both of you. We'd better finish dinner. No, go right away. Fergie, be reasonable. I say get out right away. Go away, both of you. Let's go then, I said. I was sick of Fergie. You do want to go. You see, you want to leave me even to eat dinner alone. I've always wanted to go to the Italian lakes, and this is how it is. Oh, she sobbed, then looked at Catherine and choked. We'll stay till after dinner, Catherine said, and I'll not leave you alone if you want me to stay. I won't leave you alone, Fergie. No, I want you to go. I want you to go. She wiped her eyes. I'm so unreasonable. Please don't mind me. The girl who served the meal had been upset by all the crying. Now, as she brought in the next course, she seemed relieved that things were better. That night at the hotel, in our room with the long empty hall outside and our shoes outside the door, a thick carpet on the floor of the room, outside the windows the rain falling, and in the room light and pleasant and cheerful. Then the light out, and it exciting, with smooth sheets and the bed comfortable, feeling that we had come home, feeling no longer alone, waking in the night to find the other one there and not gone away. All other things were unreal. We slept when we were tired, and if we woke, the other one woke too, so one was not alone. Often a man wishes to be alone, and a girl wishes to be alone too, and if they love each other, they are jealous of that in each other. But I can truly say we never felt that. We could feel alone when we were together, alone against the others. It has only happened to me like that once. I've been alone while I was with many girls, and that is the way that you can be most lonely. But we were never lonely and never afraid when we were together. I know that the night is not the same as the day, that all things are different, that the things of the night cannot be explained in the day, because they do not then exist, and the night can be a dreadful time for lonely people once their loneliness is started. But with Catherine there was almost no difference in the night, except that it was an even better time. If people bring so much courage to this world, the world has to kill them to break them, so of course it kills them. The world breaks everyone, and afterward many are strong at the broken places, but those that will not break it kills. It kills the very good, and the very gentle, and the very brave impartially. If you are none of these, you can be sure it will kill you too, but there will be no special hurry. I remember waking in the morning. Catherine was asleep, and the sunlight was coming in through the window. The rain had stopped, and I stepped out of bed and across the floor to the window. Down below were the gardens, bare now but beautifully regular, the gravel paths, the trees, the stone wall by the lake and the sunlight with the mountains beyond. I stood at the window looking out, and when I turned away I saw Catherine was awake and watching me. "How are you, darling?" she said. "Isn't it a lovely day?" "How do you feel?" "I feel very well. We had a lovely night. Do you want breakfast?" She wanted breakfast. So did I, and we had it in bed, the November sunlight coming in the window, and the breakfast tray across my lap. "Don't you want the paper? You always wanted the paper in the hospital." "No," I said, "I don't want the paper now." "Was it so bad you don't want even to read about it?" "I don't want to read about it." "I wish I had been with you so I would know about it too." "I'll tell you about it if I ever get it straight in my head." "But won't they arrest you if they catch you out of uniform?" "They'll probably shoot me." "Then we'll not stay here. We'll get out of the country." "I'd thought something of that." "We'll get out, darling. You shouldn't take silly chances. Tell me, how did you come from Mestre to Milan?" "I came on the train. I was in uniform then." "Weren't you in danger then?" "Not much. I had an old order of movement. I fixed the dates on it in Mestre." "Darling, you're liable to be arrested here any time. I won't have it. It's silly to do something like that. Where would we be if they took you off? Let's not think about it. I'm tired of thinking about it." "What would you do if they came to arrest you?" "Shoot them. You see how silly you are." "I won't let you go out of the hotel until we leave here." "Where are we going to go?" "Please don't be that way, darling. We'll go wherever you say, but please find some place to go right away." "Switzerland is down the lake. We can go there." "That will be lovely." was clouding over outside, and the lake was darkening. "I wish we did not always have to live like criminals," I said. "Darling, don't be that way. You haven't lived like a criminal very long. And we never lived like criminals. We're going to have a fine time." "I feel like a criminal. I've deserted from the army." "Darling, please be sensible. It's not deserting from the army. It's only the Italian army." I laughed. "You're a fine girl. Let's get back into bed. I feel fine in bed." A little while later, Catherine said, "You don't feel like a criminal, do you?" "No," I said, "not when I'm with you." "You're such a silly boy," she said, "but I'll look after you. Isn't it splendid, darling, that I don't have any morning sickness? It's grand. You don't appreciate what a fine wife you have, but I don't care. I'll get you some place where they can't arrest you, and then we'll have a lovely time. Let's go there right away." "We will, darling. I'll go any place, any time you wish. Let's not think about anything." "All right." Chapter 35. Catherine went along the lake to the little hotel to see Ferguson, and I sat in the bar and read the papers. There were comfortable leather chairs in the bar, and I sat in one of them and read until the barman came in. The army had not stood at the Tagliamento. They were falling back to the Piave. I remembered the Piave. The railroad crossed it near San Donna, going up to the front. It was deep and slow there, and quite narrow. Down below there were mosquito marshes and canals. There were some lovely villas, once before the war, going up to the Cortina d'Ampezzo. I had gone along it for several hours in the hills. Up there it looked like a trout stream, flowing swiftly with shallow stretches and pools under the shadow of the rocks. The road turned off from it at Cadore. I wondered how the army that was up there would come down. The barman came in. "Count Greffi was asking for you," he said. "Who?" "Count Greffi. You remember the old man who was here when you were here before?" "Is he here?" "Yes, he's here with his niece. I told him you were here. He wants to play billiards." "Where is he?" "He's taking a walk." "How is he?" "He's younger than ever. He drank 3 champagne cocktails last night before dinner." "How's his billiard game?" "Good. He beat me. When I told him you were here, he was very pleased." "There's nobody here for him to play with." Count Greffi was 94 years old. He had been a contemporary of Metternich, and was an old man with white hair and mustache and beautiful manners. He had been in the diplomatic service of both Austria and Italy, and his birthday parties were the great social event of Milan. He was living to be 100 years old, and played a smoothly fluent game of billiards that contrasted with his own 94-year-old brittleness. I had met him when I had been at Stresa once before out of season, and while we played billiards we drank champagne. I thought it was a splendid custom, and he gave me 15 points in 100 and beat me. "Why didn't you tell me you was here?" "I forgot it." "Who else is here?" "No one, you know. There are only 6 people altogether." "What are you doing now?" "Nothing. Coming out fishing. I could come for an hour. Come on, bring the trolling line." The barman put on a coat, and we went out. We went down and got a boat, and I rowed while the barman sat in the stern and let out the line with a spinner and a heavy sinker on the end to troll for lake trout. We rowed along the shore, the barman holding the line in his hand and giving it occasional jerks forward. Stresa looked very deserted from the lake. There were the long rows of bare trees, the big hotels, and the closed villas. I rowed across to Isola Bella and went close to the walls, where the water deepened sharply, and you saw the rock wall slanting down in the clear water, and then up and along to the fisherman's island. The sun was under a cloud, and the water was dark and smooth and very cold. We did not have a strike, though we saw some circles on the water from rising fish. I rowed up opposite the fisherman's island, where there were boats drawn up, and men were mending nets. Should we get a drink? All right. I brought the boat up to the stone pier, and the barman pulled in the line, coiling it in the bottom of the boat, and hooking the spinner on the edge of the gunwale. I stepped out and tied the boat. We went into a little cafe, sat at a bare wooden table, and ordered vermouth. "Are you tired from rowing?" "No. I'll row back," he said. "I like to row." "Maybe if you hold the line it will change the luck." All right. Tell me how goes the war. Rotten. I don't have to go. I'm too old, like Count Greffy. Maybe you'll have to go yet. Next year they'll call my class, but I won't go. What will you do? Get out of the country. I wouldn't go to war. I was at the war once in Abyssinia. Nix. Why do you go? I don't know. I was a fool. Have another vermouth? All right. The barman rowed back. We trolled up the lake beyond Stresa and then went down not far from shore. I held the taut line and felt the faint pulsing of the spinner revolving while I looked at the dark November water of the lake and the deserted shore. The barman rowed with long strokes, and on the forward thrust of the boat the line throbbed. Once I had a strike. The line hardened suddenly and jerked back. I pulled and felt the live weight of the trout, and then the line throbbed again. I had missed him. Did he feel big? Pretty big. Once when I was out trolling alone, I had the line in my teeth, and one struck and nearly took my mouth out. The best way is to have it over your leg, I said. Then you feel it and don't lose your teeth. I put my hand in the water. It was very cold. We were almost opposite the hotel now. I have to go in, the barman said, to be there for 11 o'clock. L'heure du cocktail. All right. I pulled in the line and wrapped it on a stick notched at each end. The barman put the boat in a little slip in the stone wall and locked it with a chain and padlock. Any time you want it, he said. I'll give you the key. Thanks. We went up to the hotel and in the bar. I did not want another drink so early in the morning, so I went up to our room. The maid had just finished doing the room, and Catherine was not yet back. I lay down on the bed and tried to keep from thinking. When Catherine came back, it was all right again. Ferguson was downstairs, she said. She was coming to lunch. I knew you wouldn't mind, Catherine said. No, I said. What's the matter, darling? I don't know. I know. You haven't got anything to do. All you have is me, and I go away. It's true. I'm sorry, darling. I know it must be a dreadful feeling to have nothing at all suddenly. My life used to be full of everything, I said. Now if you aren't with me, I haven't a thing in the world. But I'll be with you. I was only gone for 2 hours. Isn't there anything you can do? I went fishing with the barman. Wasn't it fun? Yes. Don't think about me when I'm not here. That's the way I worked it at the front, but there was something to do then. Othello with his occupation gone, she teased. Othello was a nigger, I said. Besides, I'm not jealous. I'm just so in love with you that there isn't anything else. Will you be a good boy and be nice to Ferguson? I'm always nice to Ferguson, unless she curses me. Be nice to her. Think how much we have, and she hasn't anything. I don't think she wants what we have. You don't know much, darling, for such a wise boy. I'll be nice to her. I know you will. You're so sweet. She won't stay afterward, will she? No, I'll get rid of her, and then we'll come up here. Of course. What do you think I want to do? We went downstairs to have lunch with Ferguson. She was very impressed by the hotel and the splendor of the dining room. We had a good lunch with a couple of bottles of white Capri. Count Greffy came into the dining room and bowed to us. His niece, who looked a little like my grandmother, was with him. I told Catherine and Ferguson about him, and Ferguson was very impressed. The hotel was very big and grand and empty, but the food was good, the wine was very pleasant, and finally the wine made us all feel very well. Catherine had no need to feel any better. She was very happy. Ferguson became quite cheerful. I felt very well myself. After lunch, Ferguson went back to her hotel. She was going to lie down for a while after lunch, she said. Along late in the afternoon, someone knocked on our door. Who is it? The Count Greffy wishes to know if you will play billiards with him. I looked at my watch. I had taken it off, and it was under the pillow. Do you have to go, darling? Catherine whispered. I think I'd better. The watch was 4:15 o'clock. Out loud I said, Tell the Count Greffy I will be in the billiard room at 5 o'clock. At 4:45 I kissed Catherine good-bye and went into the bathroom to dress. Knotting my tie and looking in the glass, I looked strange to myself in the civilian clothes. I must remember to buy some more shirts and socks. Will you be away a long time? Catherine asked. She looked lovely in the bed. Would you hand me the brush? I watched her brushing her hair. holding her head so the weight of her hair all came on one side. It was dark outside, and the light over the head of the bed shone on her hair and on her neck and shoulders. I went over and kissed her and held her hand with the brush, and her head sunk back on the pillow. I kissed her neck and shoulders. I felt faint with loving her so much. I don't want to go away. I don't want you to go away. I won't go then. Yes, go. It's only for a little while, and then you'll come back. We'll have dinner up here. Hurry and come back. I found the Count Greffy in the billiard room. He was practicing strokes, looking very fragile under the light that came down above the billiard table. On a card table a little way beyond the light was a silver icing bucket with the necks and corks of 2 champagne bottles showing above the ice. Count Greffy straightened up when I came toward the table and walked toward me. He put out his hand. "It is such a great pleasure that you are here. You were very kind to come to play with me." "It was very nice of you to ask me." "Are you quite well? They told me you were wounded on the Isonzo. I hope you are well again." "I'm very well." "Have you been well?" "Oh, I'm always well, but I'm getting old. I detect signs of age now." "I can't believe it." "Yes, do you want to know one? It is easier for me to talk Italian. I discipline myself, but I find that when I am tired that it is so much easier to talk Italian. So I know I must be getting old." "We could talk Italian. I'm a little tired too." "Oh, but when you are tired it will be easier for you to talk English." "American. Yes, American. You will please talk American. It is a delightful language. I hardly ever see Americans." "You must miss them. One misses one's countrymen, and especially one's countrywomen. I know that experience. Should we play, or are you too tired?" "I'm not really tired. I said that for a joke. What handicap will you give me?" "Have you been playing very much?" "None at all." "You play very well. 10 points in 100. "You flatter me." 15? "That would be fine, but you will beat me. Should we play for a stake? You always wish to play for a stake." "I think we'd better." "All right. I will give you 18 points, and we will play for a franc a point." He played a lovely game of billiards, and with the handicap I was only 4 ahead at 50. Count Greffy pushed a button on the wall to ring for the barman. "Open 1 bottle, please," he said. Then to me, "We will take a little stimulant." The wine was icy cold and very dry and good. "Should we talk Italian? Would you mind very much? It is my great weakness now." We went on playing, sipping the wine between shots, speaking in Italian, but talking little, concentrated on the game. Count Greffy made his 100th point, and with the handicap I was only at 94. He smiled and patted me on the shoulder. "Now we will drink the other bottle, and you will tell me about the war." He waited for me to sit down. "About anything else," I said. "You don't want to talk about it? Good. What have you been reading?" "Nothing," I said. "I'm afraid I'm very dull." "No, but you should read." "What is there written in wartime?" "There is Les Feux, by a Frenchman, Barbus. There is Mr. Brightling sees through it." "No, he doesn't." "What? He doesn't see through it? Those books were at the hospital." "Then you have been reading." "Yes, but nothing any good." "I thought Mr. Brightling a very good study of the English middle-class soul." "I don't know much about the soul." "Poor boy, we none of us know about the soul. Are you croyant?" "At night." Count Greffy smiled and turned the glass with his fingers. "I'd expected to become more devout as I grow older, but somehow I haven't," he said. "It is a great pity." "Would you like to live after death?" I asked, and instantly felt a fool to mention death, but he did not mind the word. "It would depend on the life. This life is very pleasant. I would like to live forever," he smiled. "I very nearly have." We were sitting in the deep leather chairs, the champagne and the ice bucket and our glasses on the table between us. "If you ever live to be as old as I am, you will find many things strange." "You never seem old." "It is the body that is old. Sometimes I am afraid I will break off a finger as one breaks a stick of chalk, and the spirit is no older and not much wiser." "You are wise." "No, that is the great fallacy, the wisdom of old men. They do not grow wise, they grow careful." Perhaps that is wisdom. It is a very unattractive wisdom. What do you value most? Someone I love. With me it is the same. That is not wisdom. Do you value life? Yes, so do I, because it is all I have. And to give birthday parties, he laughed. You are probably wiser than I. You do not give birthday parties. We both drank the wine. What do you think of the war, really? I asked. I think it is stupid. Who will win it? Italy. Why? They are a younger nation. Do younger nations always win wars? They are apt to for a time. Then what happens? They become older nations. You said you were not wise. Dear boy, that is not wisdom, that is cynicism. Sounds very wise to me. It's not particularly. I could quote you the examples on the other side, but it is not bad. Have we finished the champagne? Almost. Should we drink some more? Then I must dress. Perhaps we'd better not now. You are sure you don't want more? Yes, I stood up. I hope you will be very fortunate and very happy and very, very healthy. Thank you, and I hope you will live forever. Thank you, I have. And if you ever become devout, pray for me if I am dead. I am asking several of my friends to do that. I'd expected to become devout myself, but it has not come. I thought he smiled sadly, but I could not tell. He was so old and his face was very wrinkled, so that a smile used so many lines that all gradations were lost. I might become very devout, I said. Anyway, I will pray for you. I had always expected to become devout. All my family died, very devout, but somehow it does not come. It's too early. Maybe it's too late. Perhaps I have outlived my religious feeling. My own comes only at night. Then, too, you are in love. Do not forget that is a religious feeling. You believe so? Of course. He took a step toward the table. You are very kind to play. It was a great pleasure. We will walk upstairs together.